not now, because we're learning a lot more about the body now. And,
Right.
Back in the old days with Weiskopf and Nicholas and Watson and all those guys who had the reverse tee, we were taught to do that. We were taught to drive your legs to the target, which put a tremendous amount of pressure on your back. You can still hit the ball like that. I mean, as Nicholas and Weiskopf and Watson and those guys showed, but it does take a toll. And they said if you ever saw a picture of Jack Nicklaus's back, you wouldn't believe it, that the man can even walk. But the modern move now is rotational, where you stabilize your lower body and you rotate over a little firmer left knee, and you finish in a more of a stand-up position facing the target, so it takes the pressure out of your lower back. Because the speed those guys are swinging now, it's incredible.
The young, very, very, very agile, very, very limber Johnny Miller was maybe not as exaggerated as Joaquin Neiman, but it was, and I'm talking even before 73 at Oakmont, 70, 71, when he was really young.
Oh, yeah, back in when he was a junior golfer and, a young player. When he came out, I've got videos of him at work of all the really great golf swings, and when you slow his swing down, you go, ow. And the same thing with Joaquin. His was worse a couple years ago. I'm just surprised he's still walking,
Ted, I said you wouldn't dare teach that now. What is not taught now that really astounds you, that blows your mind, that was kind of the opening bid of a golf lesson, say, 25 or 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, kind of from yesteryear, that you don't even get near? Is it head still as much as it once was taught? I mean, you just couldn't dare remove it. Is that one of the things? What is it?
That's a really great question, because you can't keep your head still and swing a golf club. I mean, there's a little bit of side-to-side movement just from the momentum of your swing. The worst thing they taught us was to keep your head down through impact. And I got people every day that come in trying to keep their head glued to the floor when the shot's 100 yards away, and they've got neck problems, they got shoulder problems. That's a terrible piece of advice. Keep your head down. And I show people every single day on the video that you can't do that. The drive in your legs was probably the thing that nobody talks about now. And that was because of Nicholas. That's what he said. You need to have strong legs and drive your legs to the target. And Carrick, Middlecoff did it. There were a lot of great players back then that did that, but you don't hear anymore. Now it's stabilize and rotate.
And we used to have so many things that now we're not doing. What is the thing that from the first lesson you ever gave, you still have to incorporate into it now? Just one of the basics. Is it alignment? Is it grip? What is it?
Oh, absolutely. Grip and posture are so critical, because if you use a different unorthodox grip, which a lot of pros do, David Duval, Dustin Johnson, you have to learn the compensations that go with it. So I try and get anybody that'll do it to hold the club in a more neutral way, so they don't have to flip their hands or rotate their bodies through impact to hit the ball straight. And then posture is a lot more athletic now than it used to be. Remember the guys like Fuzzy Zeller used to slump way over, and Hubert Green would slump way over, and they had these big curved backs. Now they all look the same. They got this straight back, chin up, slight knee flex. It's a much more athletic position, like guarding somebody playing football. You get braced and you get ready for an athletic move. And we didn't hear that back then. That was different.
Ted, a miscut for Bryson DeChambeau, kind of on the struggle bus a little bit. I've had him in our picks the last 2 weeks. No thank you for a while, except for maybe in 2 weeks at the Open Championship at Royal St. George's, where there's not a lot of out of bounds, and Bombers have had a really good experience at Open Championships.
Yeah, he's I think for sure a consideration. And all the big hitters are. Rahm right now is at the top of his game. I mean, he's liable to win anytime he picks it up. And I've already picked Louis as my pick, because I think he's due. If I was betting, I'd probably bet on Rahm, but I'm kind of thinking Louis might pull one off. But the big hitters now, they're all big hitters. Joaquin hit 330 a couple of times. There's no really short knockers out there. The fairways are so good. They're firm. They're cut like greens. The ball rolls 50 yards. So if you can carry it 275, which is average for a tour player, you're 325. And
Boy,
the
that's
guys
the gospel.
that fly, and the guys that fly it over 300, I mean, they're down there 370.
Yeah, and I mean, Dave Stockton wouldn't have a chance now, no matter how great a putter, because in the day he wasn't 230.
No. The none of the guys back then were Nicklaus and a few of them got it after Weiskopf, and those guys
Raymond
got it after
Floyd.
pretty far. Floyd, but for the most part, 250, 260 was a Hale Irwin won 3 Opens, hit at 251 off the tee. That's a 3-iron now.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people playing golf on the weekend that can do that. It's just a different time, and you're right. Everybody's going to be bombing it. So this week, the John Deere, they didn't have a tournament last year. Then the next week, we'll be looking forward to talking about the Open Championship, and we'll get your pick unless you're dissuaded from taking Louis. We already have it, but we'll talk golf with you again next Monday. Ted, thank you for joining us on this day after. Happy 5th to you, and we'll talk golf with you next Monday.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Ted.
sir.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Ted Butler talking golf with us every Monday after the Rocket Mortgage 5 playoff holes before they decided a winner. They don't want that at the John Deere for a lot of reasons, because they have the plane ready for them to head across the pond to the Open Championship. And next week when we get into the British Open, we'll have a lot of conversation about that, a lot of guests. We don't have anybody going to the British Open, but we'll talk a lot about it. So a lot of playoffs, a lot of extra holes the last 2 weeks. They won't have that at the John Deere. Can you name the Quad Cities, Gabe? You're from up there. You're close to there.
Lord, no, I cannot. Can you? Do you have them in front of you? Is it a cheat sheet?
I do not. Bettendorf.
Yes. Alex, hey, you know my brother would be disappointed at me right now.
Does Silphus count? I mean, that's where the tournament is. Does it count as one of the Quad Cities?
Hold up. Let me get the correct answer for you. Let's see what the Quad Cities are. I know Bettendorf is. I know that much.
And at one time it was the Quad Cities Open.
I'm telling you, Alex would be disappointed in me right now.
Very. Because that's wheelhouse for him. That's target audience for them.
Davenport and Bettendorf in Iowa. And then Rock Island and Moline.
So Silphus wouldn't count as one.
I guess not. No.
Huh.
Interesting.
So 2 Illinois cities and 2 Iowa cities.
Yes. I've actually been over to Davenport with my brother.
Never been to either. Never been to any of the 4. No, the quad. I'm 0 for the quad. I've been to Des Moines. Did arena football in Des Moines, and guess who the quarterback was for the Iowa Barnstormers?
Kurt Warner.
You got it. I saw him. We saw him pulled. He was pulled from the game for Jake Kelchner. How'd life work out for Jake Kelchner?
Where's he at?
Yeah, where's
What's
Jake
he doing
today? I know this. Kurt Warner's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and one of the stories of all time. I think a movie's getting ready to come out about him, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I watch it. I'll watch. You know how many good times we had in St. Louis with Kurt Warner. Obviously, when I started watching them very, very closely, when I started being a huge Rams fan, he had sort of gotten out of the door. Then it was Mark Bolger. Then there was a litany of different quarterbacks, and there was Sam Bradford. And everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But he has the best of times. We remember him very, very fondly in St. Louis.
Now this football season, you got to make Barrett Jones feel old. You got to tell him, hey, yeah, Barrett. When I was little, I went and watched you play for the Rams.
I wasn't quite little at that point. I was excited about that pick, though. I'm watching the NFL draft. I was very happy with that Rams selection.
Yeah, Barrett had a good experience with the Rams, and then with the Eagles, and got into the retirement with 4 years in the NFL. But he left his ankles and his back at Alabama.
I was gonna say, Brett, that's a lot of football to be playing at all those different positions along the O-line. Eventually, something's gonna go bad, and injuries happen very, very often.
He played that national championship game against Notre Dame with knowing that this probably limits the future, and he said, "I'm playing." He said, "I'm playing for Alabama against Notre Dame," and played. He did, and was dominant. When we come back, we will talk these NBA playoffs and also some of the players from around sports now that kind of fits the Chris Paul narrative, the Chris Paul construct of finally getting to the ultimate round, to the NBA Finals. That's next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Grind City Brewing Company is taking care of beerness in Memphis. Grind City Brewing is the dream of a father and son duo to create a brand that delivers a high quality, great tasting, and easy drinking craft beer. And they've done it. The brewery sits high above the city elevation in uptown Memphis with 15,000 square feet of beerness, including a 5,000 square foot tap room. Grind City Brewing is committed to all things Memphis, including the Tigers. They have created a malt liquor called Tiger Tail that is the official craft beer of the University of Memphis. Tiger Tail comes in 16-ounce six-packs and is not your typical malt liquor. Tiger Tail is crafted with a bold and smooth flavor, has 7.5% alcohol, and its clean finish makes it incredibly easy drinking. Tiger Tail and Grind City Brewing, taking care of beerness in Memphis.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Bryant Dake is doing a great job producing on this Monday afternoon. You got Gabe, you got Brett. We're with you until 6. Dave will be back next week. Now, when we came up with this list for finally getting to the playoffs, and I don't have a great list. There's not a lot out there. 16 years for Chris Paul. There's almost no one from the rest of sport to not be at least in it. Plenty
Right.
that haven't won it. And then there was poor Joe Thomas.
Oh, my gosh, I'm glad you brought it up.
He's retired. I'm wanting to go current. I'm wanting
Right.
to go current. But Joe Thomas, not only the ultimate game, he never got in a wild card game. I mean, he never got in anything postseason.
And
I don't know if he ever played on a winning team, did he?
I know we were going with current guys, but I would be, I'd be remiss as an old lineman not to mention
Big
him.
Joe.
10,363 consecutive snaps and didn't even get to sniff the playoffs. And
Love
just
him, too.
awful, just absolutely awful quarterback play every year of his career. It's just terrible to see him have to deal with that franchise through those years. I mean, now they're good. Now the Browns are where they should be. But
he did it with aplomb, and it really never complained. I think at the Minneapolis Super Bowl, and it was me and Peter. Joe Thomas was staying at our hotel that year. Nice as he could be.
Right.
I mean, at night you'd see him around and fun loving. I tell you, Hines Ward was there as too. I mean, those two, they were like the nighttime entertainment and not bitter at all and pretty up. All right, from the NFL, I think everybody would have J.J. Watt on a list.
yes, I think that's very fair to have J.J. Watt on a list. J.J. Watt is fantastic. But they've gotten what, to the second? They got to the second round of the playoffs.
Never deep, though.
Never deep at all. Never even to the
Kind of that Saturday ESPN 2:30 game,
right? One that I had written down that has not even gotten remotely close. Barely won any playoff games, and I don't know how people feel about him, but I think given the right situation, this is a guy who'd absolutely be in that position, and he might be in it this year. Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford's a guy who never got the due that he deserved just because he was in Detroit.
and he's so much better than Tony Romo, who had kind of the same thing said about him through
Right.
the years. Matt Stafford's got every record. They will never be broken by any quarterback with the Detroit Lions, and now this year with the Rams.
And Tony Romo was in just 2 times the situation that Matthew Stafford came into the league.
So much better.
You go
The
to
ideal
Lions,
owner.
and you look at like Calvin Johnson. It even historically, Barry Sanders having to quit early just
Sure.
because they couldn't take it anymore with the Lions. And it's tough.
Yesteryear with Lim Barney,
Right.
Billy Sims before he got hurt. So anybody else from the NFL, I had trouble coming up with much.
That's about
For
it for the
long-timers.
NFL. Because here's the other thing about when you
Because
talk
Matt
about
Ryan got there,
and
Larry
some of-
Fitzgerald got there.
And some of the stars, I mean, if you talk about running backs, you're never going to get there just because they're not in the league that long anymore. Wide receivers. I'm just thinking wide receivers.
Ezekiel Elliott hadn't been around long enough to make
Yeah,
this
we can't
list,
call
has he?
that.
No.
He's still in his 20s.
No.
At least my age. I mean, heck.
If you have any out there, we'd love to hear it at 901-360-8255. Baseball. Mike Trout, old 29. You mentioned him earlier. Been around for a while at 29, hadn't he?
Yes. He has had to deal with some bad
It was
years.
almost a yogiism. You've been around for a while at 29.
He's been around for a
Joey
for a long
Votto's the
time. And
easy one.
we text, Joey Votto's the MVP guy. I mean,
Yeah.
just to see what he's done in Cincinnati his entire career. And he's been in the playoffs, and they've had some pretty good teams around him at times, but never even close to sniffing a World Series.
No,
or a
and
pennant.
they're not going to this year. So they're not a lot from baseball or the NFL. For the NBA, I started, sadly, with Mike Conley.
Oh, that's a good one. But the Western Conference Finals, although it was a sweep,
But that ain't the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're right. The one I had that was pretty clear for me, Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony's one that I look at.
that's great.
Fantastic player.
Oh, that's great.
For
That's the one.
years and
You win.
years and years. And just
See, I
never
exempt
has
him
gotten
because
there.
of the college title, but we weren't talking college.
Yep.
You're right.
And the
It is-
NBA, no, never been there. And
that's the winner.
Yeah, and a lot of people think it's because of his style of play with the ISO and how many shots he needed to take when he was the sort of star in New York and Denver and all that.
And got out of Denver, didn't deliver in New York.
I mean, but you also have to take into account at that time you're going against the Spurs, and then the Warriors pop up,
Yeah.
and there's
Who
LeBron.
you cracking through against?
LeBron was always there in the East for the most part, so it was tough for Carmelo Anthony.
Been enough time for Bradley Beal? John Wall? I mean, Westbrook and Harden got there with Oklahoma City to the NBA Finals.
I was thinking about putting them up there, but they've
They've been to the
there.
finals.
Yeah.
And Chris Paul didn't win anything in college either. So, some tough luck losses at Wake Forest.
I think we could throw Brad Beal in there now. He's been in the league long enough.
Another year or two, could we throw Jonas Valanciunas in there?
I don't know. How
enough?
How good of a player are we giving? I mean, Jonas Valanciunas is not Brad Beal level by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
Or Carmelo Anthony
It sure
level.
wasn't CP3.
Or Mike Conley level, for that matter.
And Narjo Ivano.
Right.
Or J.J. Watt. Yeah,
So
that was next level. That was Hall of Good.
Yes. And there's a lot of guys very, very similar to Jonas that we could probably put on this list.
Yeah, then that would just kind of be a hodgepodge of all the rest. But it's not that many. Chris Paul clearly was the one from around sport to attain this. Now he's there. Will they win it? They're the heavy favorite of the series. It starts tomorrow night. If it goes 7, we'll end on Thursday night, July 22nd. I'm for Phoenix.
We forgot about an easy one, Brett. Paul George. Paul George could probably be on this list, right?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
He's in his 30s. He's been in the league for quite a while at this point. Few teams.
And some really bad luck.
Yes.
With a lot of things. So we will definitely add Paul George to that list. We want yours. If you can come up with any at 901-360-8255, we'd love for you to do that. We're going to talk college football to start the 5 o'clock hour with Big Game Boomer on Twitter at Big Game Boomer. But we start the 4 o'clock hour next talking college football with David Cobb. Hour 2 starts with David Cobb coming up next.
Hey, we understand. With everything that's happening, with all the new regulations, maybe you're not ready to come and hang out at Sweetgrass to catch a ball game. We want you to, we really do. And we're open for you to do just that. But we're also offering the next best thing, the new Sweetgrass Tailgate Party Packs. Whether it's wings, house-made dips, sliders, or other Sweetgrass tasty treats, all you have to do is call us or go to sweetgrassmemphis.com to order just what you're dreaming of when you're dreaming of watching sports and enjoying some sweet, sweet Sweetgrass.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right up and save money like never before at the Sunrise Chevy Big Top 10 event. See high prices disappear before your very eyes. Huge discounts and factory rebates up to $6,000. Bankrupt, slow pay, divorce, it's okay. The Sunrise Chevy team has over $500 million available for immediate financing and wants to get you financed. An $18 million used car inventory specializing in cars and trucks that are $10,000. See them all at sunrisememphis.com. The Sunrise Chevy tent sale in Collierville. Find new roads to Collierville, partner.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 115 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. So easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk, chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. Stock up heavy on all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet. The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We welcome you into hour number 2 on this Monday, the day after the 4th of July. And it was a lot of pomp and circumstance. The celebrations from sea to shining sea last night looked great. I was downtown Saturday night. Bryant Dacus was downtown Saturday night for the Redbirds game, and 10,000 strong, biggest crowd of the year. They had 6,000 on Friday night, came back with 8 last night, about 25,000 all weekend long at 3rd and Union. So fun to see, so festive, downtown popping all day Saturday. It was really fun to be out and about. And I'm going to get to this a little bit later. I only saw 3 masks. There were only 3 masks Saturday night.
Not even the workers?
At 3rd and Union. Only 3 in the ballpark. Press box, field, players. There were only 3. Okay. You know who they were?
Who?
The ceremonial first pitcher, the ceremonial first pitch being caught catcher. They had them on. And the Redbirds' first base coach.
Okay.
Now, look, to me, that is signifying that you're not vaccinated. But sure, you know the Redbirds aren't going to allow first pitch, ceremonial first pitch, pitcher and catcher not to be non-vaccinated.
I don't think we can assume that yet. I don't think we can assume that. I have a lot of friends who are vaccinated who are still, obviously, my girlfriend's a nurse, and she has a lot of doctor friends that still, while vaccinated, say that they think that it's best to wear a mask still. So I know a lot of people still doing that even though they're vaccinated. But generally, I agree with that sentiment.
And also, I want to give anybody that has one on, that is certainly their privilege. That is their right. You can wear 2. Again, you can wear shin guards if you would like. And if you think that protects you. I'm not saying when we get back inside next November for Grizzlies, Tigers, that I may not have one around during respiratory, cold, and flu season, just with what I already have going on, just to be on the safe side. So I'm not casting aspersion, but I saw 3 all day. 3. Pitcher, catcher, and first base coach. Saturday night.
Those crowds looked fun. I felt like I missed out seeing some of those crowds.
It was fun, and the game got good Saturday night. Redbirds cruising along 9-5, got hairy in the top of the ninth. They end up winning 9-8. Everybody goes home happy. And the fireworks, they always a great show. It just felt so good. I was telling Bryant during the break, I got spoiled and in 2000 when AutoZone Park opened, and into 1 in 2001 and 2 and 3 and 4 into that, where 6,000 was a really poor crowd. Well, things have changed.
Right.
Things have changed with some population shifts. Things have changed with some dynamic. And another thing that's hurting the Redbirds this year is the darn new bridge being shut. Mm-hmm. Especially on the weekend, they depend on a lot of Arkansas crowd, Jonesboro even, Searcy,
wanting to come
Far
do
City.
Something. Do something.
They want to go to the big city and go to AutoZone Park, and that's hurting downtown merchants as well. So maybe we're in the closing stretch of that. Tomorrow will be 8 weeks. When that first happened, I thought, they'll have it fixed 3 or 4 weeks, sooner rather than later. And it might be another 5 or 6 weeks before we get it done. David Cobb joins us on Monday. He's had to listen to us prattle on all this time while he's been on hold. David, I apologize. Happy day after the 4th. David. How are you?
Hey, guys. I'm good. No worries. You don't have to apologize to me about talking minor league baseball. I had the privilege last week of we're in Springfield, Illinois for a few more days. And so I took the liberty on, I guess it was Tuesday night, of dragging my wife with me to a collegiate summer league game between the Cape Girardeau Catfish and the Springfield Sliders.
How about it?
And
she enjoy it?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. The grilled chicken sandwich was one of the best sandwiches I've had in a long time. So good on the Prospect League for providing some entertainment in the Heartland.
Good on you for finding the perfect wife.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. She didn't necessarily look too cheery about the idea, but we did have fun. And there's not really a lot to do in Springfield once you've been to the Abraham Lincoln Museum. So yeah, it was a good time. It was beautiful weather. It was a nice little slice of America.
Did you go to the state capital of the state of Illinois in Springfield?
So we've not been inside it, but we've driven past it, and it's beautiful. And then we've also seen the old one that was around in the 19th century. So hadn't been inside though.
I love going to state capitals. It's one of my favorite things, and I've never been to Springfield, but if I go, it is going to be appointment viewing for me. All right, David, we're past the 4th of July, barely, but we're into the home stretch of the countdown to college football. A lot of lists out, a lot of speculation out. NIL leading everything, though. It has really blocked out the sun, hasn't it?
Yeah, it for sure. I mean, we're going to, media days season now here over this next month where
talking season.
We're going to get a bunch of coaches together in some ballrooms at various hotels around the country, or however they're going to do it this year. And a lot of the conversations in those rooms will be about name, image, and likeness as well. And you might think that's insignificant, but there will be some coaches who put their foot in their mouth with it and expose themselves as not being proponents of student-athlete empowerment, and I pity those who do, because it'll be used against them in recruiting. Because if you're not all in and all about it and all for it, then you're in trouble. Because I guess in all practicality, though they don't want inducements to be part of this new era. The coaches who have the best relationships with the boosters, who are most keen on setting up these opportunities for the star players to profit, they're the programs that are going to attract the most talent. And so, it's going to be interesting over the next few weeks to sort of see how all these coaches play that topic when they're asked about it publicly.
So one of the conversations with the NIL that came up was getting a certain Heisman given back to a certain guy by the name of Reggie Bush. And we've heard all of the conversation about it, but the Heisman Trust came out and said they're going to wait on the NCAA to basically reinstate that 2005 season before they make a decision to give their Heisman back. Does that basically mean, the way I read it almost, does that basically mean he's not getting his Heisman back?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like the NCAA is in a position of weakness, right now. Amateurism is on its heels. Everybody's kind of having a field day, dancing on the grave of the way things used to be.
Right.
And I'm not saying that they shouldn't. In many ways, it's a step forward for college athletics. But let's slow the train down a little bit on giving people their Heisman's back and putting banners that have been stored in equipment closets, putting those back up, and dusting off old trophies that have had to go into the storage closets at the football complexes. I mean, I get.
I think we lost him. We'll get him back on.
David,
you there? We'll get him pulled back up.
Yeah, let's reconnect. We'll reconnect with David when we can. But I think David is right. A lot of people are wanting what I mentioned last week is that kind of carte blanche amnesty across college football, and they're not going to do that, Gabe.
No, they're not going to do it. And what the Heisman Trust said basically told me all I needed to know. If you're waiting on the NCAA to do anything for you, it ain't getting done. It's just we've seen it. It's just not going to happen. So
you want a really bad joke? The Heisman Trust gave the ultimate stiff arm to the
gosh.
That boy.
Might have to show yourself out after that one.
Yeah, really. I'll be here all week. Try the Ville. We got David Cobb back, and David, I think you were off on a proper tack of everybody kind of wants a blanket amnesty. We're not going to get it.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't know. I might have gotten kicked off for saying this by the folks in Memphis, but the point I was making was. All right, if we're going based off, if we're going to change old rulings based off of modern rules, well, a lot of universities now are dropping the standardized testing requirements for admission. Does that mean that Memphis can, hang its Final Four banner back up, and that the NCAA will say that Derrick Rose's, falsified standardized test score can no longer be held against them? I mean, honestly, is that where we're headed? I don't know. It's very hypothetical and somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but are we just going to start handing back, all the things we took away because, the modern rules reflect the new reality?
Here's one, David. I've got one local. I think people can understand this. Before Bill Morris Parkway, you would go all the way down Winchester. It was a winding 2-lane road out to about Hacks Cross to get to TPC Southwind. Well, one day I'm running late, and I'm cruising through there at about 55 in a 45, and I got a speeding ticket. I can't go back to the Shelby County Sheriff's Office and go, hey, I want my money back because now we got Bill Morris Parkway, and you can go 75 on it.
You should try, though. I would love for you to try. That would be awesome. That's a great example. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm being, Mr. Get Off My Lawn a little bit too much about this, but to just go back and start handing things back to people because the rules they broke, over a decade ago are no longer in place. I don't know. I feel like there's some dust that still needs to settle here before we cross that bridge. And I don't blame the Heisman Trust for kind of slow walking that one, because y'all saw, at the end of last week, they released a statement basically in a lot of legalese saying, we're not giving Reggie his Heisman back, at least not yet. So, I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it's their trophy, and, it's supposed to embody more than just on-field accomplishments. I think in some way character is supposed to be a factor in that. And Brett, you're a voter, so you know better than anybody, the merits of that conversation.
Right. And when you look at the NIL rules in regards to recruiting, I think it was something over the weekend that, and I've been sort of, you can ask Brett, I've been skeptical of the thought of a changed power structure in regards to recruiting around NIL. But I saw this over the weekend, the Cincinnati News, or not Cincinnati, SMU, I apologize. They signed 5-star wide receiver Jordan Hudson out of the Dallas area. How important is NIL to a lot of those sort of group of 5 schools, SMU, Cincinnati, Temple, Houston, San Diego State, the ones in the big cities? How important do you think NIL could be to their recruiting?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see, because I think the assumption is that this new era, and my assumption certainly has been that this new era of college sports with NIL and one-time transferring, my assumption has been that it will allow the major powers, those who are already rich, to simply become richer.
Right.
But when you see somebody like that, a fringe top 100 prospect, choose a school that maybe you wouldn't expect, it does make you pause and start to think, because obviously SMU is a very prestigious institution with a lot of wealthy and notable alums.
A lot, yes.
And you think about let's go local with it. All right, Memphis is, it's, not a private institution, but it's an institution that's supported by a very influential Fortune 500 company that's based in the market with FedEx, and so is there an avenue there within the rules, whatever the rules are now? Nobody seems to know, for those universities to leverage those business relationships to get recruits, to come. I don't think that's specifically within the rules, but there's probably a way to do it in a gray area. And the schools that sort of master those gray areas are going to flourish. And honestly, one that has surprised me that's gotten a lot of praise so far for the way they've adapted to the new era with the name, image, and likeness, Nebraska, a school that a lot of people think has fallen behind over the last 20 years. Certainly the results have not been there in football like they once were, but they're an athletic department that's receiving a lot of praise right now for how they've sort of facilitated and created a program for their athletes in a lot of sports to capitalize on this. And so, maybe the schools that play it right, a la your Nebraskas and maybe some of your Group of Fives, can use it to their advantage. And that way, I think it's a new opportunity. How will it play out on a large scale in the long run? We'll see. But it's an opportunity, maybe, for those schools that can do this right and capitalize on it to take a step forward with their on-field results.
Our guest from CBS Sports is David Cobb. He's on Twitter at David W. Cobb. He's our guest every Monday at this time. 2 weeks ago, I gave you this assignment. Last week, we kind of got derailed for the week by the Penny Hardaway news, but I had you pick a conference. So pick you a conference. You did Pac-12 2 weeks ago, so pick you a conference, David. Any conference.
All right. Let's go SEC.
SEC, tell me one team that you would like to be the embed. You would be there for everything from now until the end of their season.
All right. You know what? I think I'll probably have to go LSU. Probably for a lot of the same reasons that I went with Arizona State when we did this on the Pac-12. And it's because of the swirling controversy and the total uncertainty around the season that is, really, really important. You're talking about LSU. And Ed O being in some trouble right now. And we've talked about this, but if the on-field results do not satisfy the power brokers there is plenty of off-the-field issues that they can use as ammunition to shove him out the door and probably not even pay him, close to half of his buyout because they could probably fire him with calls if they wanted to. It's just they're not going to want to until, they start losing football games. And so that's a situation I would really like to see right now. They've kind of overhauled that coaching staff, gotten a lot younger on that coaching staff. I would love to be in there to see how an embattled head coach is sort of handling the CEO requirements of a really rocky situation. Because if you told me LSU went 10-2 in this upcoming regular season, I'd say okay, I can believe that. But if you told me that the wheels fell off and they went 5-7. I would believe that too. And so I just think there's so much, room for fluctuation there. I think LSU would have to be my choice.
So are you have no feel right this second on when you look at LSU, what that team may look like. I mean, they have talent at the quarterback position. They have two guys, I think, that are very, very capable in Max Johnson
Great choices.
And Miles Brennan.
Yeah, no, I mean, I look at their first game on that schedule. They're going to UCLA, and we know historically that when UCLA hosts power conference opponents early in the season, it's been pretty successful. We're talking about a UCLA team that some people think could be turning a corner. I mean, the wheels could fall off really, really quickly there, in my opinion. But at the same time, if they win that game at UCLA, they could get off to a hot start and everything is fine. So I look at LSU and I see talent, and that's why I see the potential for another double-digit win season. But I also see a largely new coaching staff. A defense that was pretty terrible last season, and a lot of off-field situations swirling around that could kind of create a snowball effect, in my opinion. Where if you shoot, I mean, they got Mississippi State, I think, as their first conference game. We know how that went last year. If they lose that one again, I mean, you're talking about the grumbling's getting really, really loud there, and I just don't know. I don't know if Ed Orgeron is cut out to handle that. I mean, to be honest, because he's done a passable job, certainly, as the head coach so far. He's got a national championship, for crying out loud. But, Stats, from having seen the way things unfolded there at Ole Miss, when the pressure really gets on him, how does he respond? I don't know. We know he's grown over the last 15 years, but man, he's in some hot water, and the fact that he's reshuffled the staff as much as he has, and is going to be relying on an inexperienced quarterback, I don't know. I'm not sure that I'm totally all in and buying, LSU being back. It's kind of a tough sell for me right now.
Opening night at Pasadena, if he makes it through the summer, if he makes it through the torrent of allegations and innuendo around that program on Fox on opening day, game time, I don't think has been set yet. That's one still to be determined against UCLA in the Rose Bowl. They'll take it'll be a lot of purple and gold at the historic Rose Bowl Stadium that day. You mentioned the opener against Mississippi State in the SEC. They open in Starkville against State, and then at home against Baton Rouge, and on the road at Lexington against Mark Stoops, who pound for pound has done one of the great jobs in the history of the SEC at Kentucky.
Yeah, no doubt. I kind of like Kentucky as a sleeper this year. It seems like Missouri's getting a lot of love out of the East to maybe be, that surprise team that is a lot better than maybe some people are expecting. But, we'll see what kind of quarterback play Kentucky can find. I mean, that's kind of been their Achilles heel as of late. But they got a pretty solid transfer coming in at wide receiver and Wan'Dale Robinson from Nebraska. I think obviously, as you say, Stats, the program that Mark Stoops has built there is pretty impressive. So. I think Kentucky could be a team that sneaks up on some folks, and obviously LSU going on the road there. That's a perfect example of a game that you could tell me that they lose that one, and I'm not at all surprised. And you can see the path, the slippery slope in the wrong direction, on that schedule pretty easily when I look at what LSU has this year.
Georgia opens up obviously with Clemson, so there's going to be a lot told September 4th, week 1. What Georgia is as a team. And stop me if you've heard this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Can Georgia get over the Alabama hump this year? It seems like they have more continuity than that Alabama team. JT Daniels, they seem to have struck something with him last year, late in the season. Is this the year that Georgia could actually get over that hump?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to say yes. This is the year. If they don't do it this year, I don't know when they're going. I don't know when they're going to do it. Yeah, this is Kirby's kind of golden opportunity because, you've got an Alabama team that's replacing a lot. Who knows what that really means? I mean, they're always replacing a lot, but Georgia's not really replacing all that much, especially on offense. I mean, I think their defense should actually be better, even though they only bring back about half the starters because some of the players that are actually going to be suited up for them this year are just better players. JT Daniels, if you watch Georgia at all in the second half of last season, you could just see how much better they were with him at quarterback. And the fact is, they hung with Alabama in the first half last year, with Stetson Bennett at quarterback. And so now you talk about, putting a much better player in that position behind a veteran offensive line with, some really good playmakers around him. Obviously Alabama's not on the regular season schedule this year, so we're talking about a hypothetical, SEC championship game meeting. But honestly, that fact makes it all the more probable that we'll get that meeting because they don't have to play Alabama, out of the opposite division this year. I think their other cross division opponent is Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken. In addition to their annual game with Auburn, so that sets up very favorably for Georgia. I'm not going to say it's an easy schedule because you got, like you said, Gabe, you start out with Clemson. But yeah, look, I guess I'll couch it with this: if they beat Clemson, then yes, they can sure
for sure.
Alabama.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. And really hard to believe now this long into the Kirby Smart tenure that we're still asking, is this the year that they can finally do it? Because I would have thought the day I said the day he was hired, by this point, he would be working on his second or third by now, and he still has as many as Mark Richt won, zip.
Yeah, but he's still, to me, the most, you could argue Jimbo, but honestly, I'm more impressed with Kirby Smart's ability to build a program than I am with Jimbo's. And I don't know that you can totally credit, Jimbo to the Saban tree due to his, the influence of, Bobby Bowden and others on him. And so, from a coaching tree standpoint, I still think Kirby Smart deserves a lot of credit, and I still think he's far and away the most likely to, be that first former Saban assistant to beat him. He might still get 2 cracks at it this year because, I mean, they could play in the SEC championship game and then meet again in the playoffs. I mean, that wouldn't surprise anybody if that were to be the case.
David Cobb, great visiting with you. Glad you could be with us today. We'll do it again next week, 54 days until the start of college football. Full countdown and anticipation is on. Thank you, David.
Appreciate it, David.
All right. Yeah, thanks, guys.
You got it. David Cobb from CBS Sports with us every Monday. David mentioned the potential of Bama, Georgia playing twice, SEC championship game, and then in the playoffs. Gabe, I don't even know how they sort this out. What if you had a three-way tie that Bama finishes 7-1 in the league, A&M they finish 7-1 in the league, and LSU finishes 7-1. Bama loses to A&M, but they beat LSU, and LSU beats A&M. I don't know the tiebreakers.
I have no idea at that point. Would they do points scored or highest ranking?
I don't know.
My gosh.
I'm going to have to ask that when I hit the Winfrey in 2 weeks and find out for sure if that were to occur, because when I went through first time lightly shaded pencil season, that's how it played out for me. Bama, LSU, A&M, all 11-1 with losing to each other.
Yeah, I am curious with Bama this year. And obviously you could say all you want about how they reload, because they reload. They have all the best recruits. They do a great
without
job.
A hiccup, usually.
They do a great job developing those recruits, and that's the biggest thing there, Brett, is developing. If you develop the guys right, you're going to get what you want. But Bryce Young, year one as a starter, I'm not convinced yet. Now, he could go out there and be absolutely phenomenal game one and change my mind. But right this second, I'm very curious. He's still, I understand he's a 5-star out of the state of California, and that did the Elite 11 and then has been there, done that.
They all have that pedigree.
But again, yes, they all have that pedigree, and I'm not sure, given his size, given his stature, that he's going to be able to step in and be absolutely fantastic. Day one, you talk about Mac Jones. Mac Jones didn't start till his senior year, but think about who he was behind and think about how much experience he got within that Alabama system, understanding what is expected of him, how to do it. Bryce Young hasn't had that yet.
Yeah, in opening night for Alabama against Miami in Atlanta, opening afternoon, that's going to be about as neutral as if they were playing at Birmingham. Right. That's not neutral at all. Then let's see what he does after they go on the road, Week 3, SEC opener in the Swamp against the Florida Gators. That will be a lot of eyes on Bryce Young for that and see how he handles that. And then, then later have to go to College Station. When we come back, we talk the NBA Finals. They're set. Game 1 tomorrow night. Phoenix will be hosting the Milwaukee Bucks. First finals for the Bucks since 1974. The only time they've won it, 1971. Third time for the Phoenix Suns. They were in the 76 finals and lost in 6 to the Boston Celtics, and they lost in 93, part of the hurricane that everybody got swept up in by Michael Jordan. When we come back, we talk the NBA. We do that with our very own Anthony Sane up next on Sportstime.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Golf is back, and so is Miramichi. And just like every other year, there are improvements. This beautiful golf course sits on 330 acres. It provides more than 7,400 yards of championship-level golf, and the beauty that surrounds it is absolutely amazing. And guess what is back too? It's the Miramichi patio. Totally redone, revamped bathrooms, a full service bar, and on weekends, there'll be bands. Oh, by the way, 2 TVs, and it's now open to the public. You don't even have to play golf to catch the view from the Miramichi patio. But if you do want to play some golf, have we got deals for you? Senior golf for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday down to $30. The standard weekday rates, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, as low as $32. Even on the weekends, it's under $50, and you get golf balls on the range. Play the most beautiful golf course in all of Shelby County. Go check out Miramichi. I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948. At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claim specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
You've got Bryant, you've got Gabe, you've got Brett, and we're soon to have Anthony Sane from Sports 56 Mornings. You hear him every morning from 7 o'clock to 10 a.m. with Peter Edmondson on Sports 56 Mornings. If you don't, you need to follow him on Twitter at Sane Asylum. We have visited with Anthony through the NBA playoffs on Monday afternoon, and now we're down to 2 teams. Either the Milwaukee Bucks or the Phoenix Suns will be champions for this year. Both of them, 4 wins away. One of them will attain that. Will it go 7? If it goes 7, it ends on Thursday night, July 22nd. Game 1 tomorrow night on July the 6th. Anthony Sane joins us now, and I don't know why, but my screen will not bring him up. Gabe, can you pot Anthony up for us?
There he is, Anthony.
There you go.
Happening?
Hey, Anthony Sane, how are you?
Man, I'm good, guys. How y'all today?
Doing well.
Ready for these finals, ready for the full Chris Paul coronation and appreciation. Yes, Anthony, through the years, I've been very, very tough on him. A lot of it was my Grizzlies fandom talking over those Clippers matchups for years. I said he would never be on a championship float in a championship parade. He's 4 games from making me look foolish.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, man. We're about to crown another champion. We've seen fans back in the building this year, something that honestly we didn't know we'd ever see it again. You know, we've seen that come back and we're about to crown another NBA World Champion. It's something to truly be excited about. It's been a great playoffs from beginning to end. A lot of injuries, but it's been some great games, man. Some great series, great competition, great comebacks. We're seeing the stars really emerge, and stars reminding you why they've been considered stars. We've seen, new young guys emerging. The future looks very bright in the NBA. Guys like Trae Young, guys like Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, John Morant. We've just seen, the NBA has been on full display in this year's playoffs. There's a lot of people complaining about it, but the fans who are true fans of the game, there's been a lot to be excited about. And I'm super excited to see the finals and, like you said, crown up another champion. And as far as the Chris Paul thing goes, of course, it's if you're a Grizzlies fan, you've had your battles with Chris Paul, but if you're a basketball fan, man, there's no way you're still holding on to those type of grudges. One of the greatest point guards to ever play the game, period. And to see him get an opportunity, to win that championship is huge. And I'm personally pulling for him and the Phoenix Suns to get that title.
Absolutely. CP3, it doesn't matter how much you hold against him. He really has brought a leadership quality to this Suns team that has been overplayed by a lot of national media. I think it's been overplayed to a certain extent because apparently Campaign getting his 29 points and 9 assists was all Chris Paul, according to Michael Wilbon after Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. But he has been absolutely fantastic. But you mentioned the injuries. And by no means, when I say this, I'm not saying asterisk. I'm not saying anything even remotely close to that. But do you think this year needs added context in regards to how many injuries have taken place and in the road the Suns have had to take, basically, with all the stars out and all of the teams they played through the playoffs?
No. Injuries are part of the game. Injuries have always affected the playoffs. The first year that the Golden State Warriors won the NBA championship, they had injured teams every round.
Right.
And their starting point guard was injured every round. No one is going to say that Golden State Warriors team wasn't one of the great runs in NBA history. I don't believe in it, man. Those type of things happen. We saw the Milwaukee Bucks got injured. Trae Young got hurt with the Atlanta Hawks as well. And it still was a great game. And the Bucks are still able to win with Trae Young on the court.
Phoenix has been injured.
Yeah, Phoenix has had injuries of their own. Chris Paul has missed a lot of games with the COVID situation as well. So, yeah, I'm not an asterisk guy. I'm excited, man. Like this has been one of those great years where we've seen a lot of competition, and it's really good to see. It's really good to see.
And by no means am I saying asterisk altogether. I don't believe in an asterisk. I don't believe in an asterisk even in any form. But I just look at the Suns' road, and I see what they've gone through. And it's round one, you're dealing with the Lakers with down AD. Round two, you're dealing with the Nuggets. And I'll give credit to the Suns here because they swept the Nuggets. It wasn't even really close, but without Jamal Murray. And then you get to the Western Conference Finals, and Kawhi Leonard is nowhere to be found for the Clippers. He's on the bench. So that's what I'm referring to. I'm not trying to say an asterisk by any. This has been a normal year by all accounts in regards to playing all the games. They earned their 2 seed. They got through. But I think their road has been, to a certain extent, easier than normal in regards to when you talk about playoff basketball.
Yeah, I get what you're saying as far as the stuff, the benefit they've had from some of the injuries or whatever. But I still think that Phoenix team is an incredible team.
Right.
You're not talking about now. If you would have said that about Atlanta, if Atlanta had made it to the finals, I would have said, "Hey," because I joked about this on the show this morning. The Hawks had a Knicks team that was. You remember when we were in school when you were playing pickup ball? There was always this dude who was playing for real all the time.
Yeah,
man, we just out there having fun. Like, stop being for real. Yeah. That was the Knicks during the regular season. They were the team that was being for real too much. You know what I mean? And when it got to the playoffs, everyone's for real, so they lost. You know what I mean?
Like, dude, relax, please.
Right. You realize that they weren't that talented of a team. They were just kind of overachieving the entire season. That was the Hawks' first-round matchup. And then they got Philadelphia with Ben Simmons just having a total mental meltdown for most of their series, and with Joel Embiid, who had an injury as well. He wasn't missing games, but he wasn't Joel Embiid. He was, he was one finger roll away from that series being over early. And then you get Milwaukee, who had a Giannis injury. And Atlanta had made it to the finals, then I would have said, hey, there's an asterisk on the Hawks. You know what I mean? Because I'm not sure. I don't think they were the best team in the East because they didn't have to play the Nets, all these type of things. But Phoenix was the best team was the best team or the second best team in the West the entire season.
That's true.
So I don't think anything about their run was the G.
Let me defend my hard stance on Chris Paul never being on a championship float. Before this year, I mean, when this season started in December, I thought I could count it. 16th year, Chris Paul with the Phoenix Suns. Okay, they may improve. They may be a scrappy 6 or 7 seed, maybe pull the first round upset. But this is really slamming the door on the detractors. I don't think it's and Gabe was clear. He's not either. I don't think it's asterisk. I don't think it's italics. I think it should be in bold print if Phoenix wins it.
Yeah, for sure. That Phoenix team is good, man. You got one of the more dynamic scorers in the league in Devin Booker, who's still young and still growing. You got one of the greatest point guards of all time. You got inside play with DeAndre Ayton. You got great role players in the team, guys like Jay Crowder, Cam Johnson, guys who knock down shots, Bridges. You know that team has a very repeatable core. Like you can kind of build around what they're trying to do there in Phoenix, and I think it gives optimism to even a situation like here in Memphis to show where if you build right, if you can get some young players that are part of your core, you can make the right move to add another star level player, and you could be a team that competes for a championship. And I think that I definitely have to tip my hat to what Phoenix did this offseason and throughout this entire season.
Right. And I always tell you, one of my favorite pastimes, some of my favorite Twitter content comes from your back and forth with Pelicans fans and with Hawks fans. Hawks fans,
you do, Anthony. If you were a wrestler, you would be the bad guy. You would be the heel. You love it.
That's where it comes from. I was always full with the bad guys, and that's the persona I've adopted on Twitter, and I love it to death.
And with the Hawks, you had to eat crow there for a while because they ended up getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. But then you see some of the fans from the Hawks obviously came in as a 5 seed, got through. You mentioned that you probably might have to italicize their name if they ended up in the NBA Finals this year. But a lot of them are saying, okay, it's a young team. We'll be back. We have a chance. Do you fall into that? Or are you pressing the brakes on the Hawks as a continued power in the Eastern Conference?
I like what the Hawks did this year. It turned out fine. But I'm not – if you look throughout history, it's not guaranteed that a team who had success.
No.
I mean, we were talking about the Miami Heat last year. You know what I mean? The Miami Heat went to the NBA Finals last year. And
I had Tyler Hero in the Hall of Fame this time.
Yeah, exactly.
Come bubble.
There's no such thing as we'll see you back next year. That's not a given at all. And we saw that. Denver was in the conference finals last year. You know, they had injuries, of course, but they didn't make it back. There's nothing guaranteed in the NBA, man. You have to continue to build. You have to continue to have good luck. There's plenty of teams throughout time that they showed promise. They showed promise early, but they didn't end up being that championship level team. So, and like I said, I made jokes about Atlanta at the beginning of the season, saying that they are a team who they were in a rush to be in the middle. And they could very well be there again. They could very well be that team that's, stuck between 6 and 8 every season, 5 through 8, and they can't get over the hump to get into the top of the East. Or they could be a team that can, be one of the powers. But I don't think the Hawks roster is just I could very well see them being the Heat, where your team is in the finals and you're a 6 seed the next season. I could very well see something like
6 to 8 is really basketball, no man's land purgatory. You may make a little first-round noise, but you're probably not mounting a real run. And then it derails you in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. And that was my whole point with the Hawks fans I was talking to, whatever. Like, bro, like, y'all, yeah, sure, you're going to get better. You're going to be better this year than you would have been if you didn't do anything. But what is it doing for you long term? What is it doing for your development of guys like Cam Payne, who definitely look like a player, who you've had on the bench because you're trying to play whoever you're trying, you know what I mean? Like the guys you have in front of him, or you're trying to play, or you didn't even sign John Collins to an extension last year, and now you're on the hook for him, his money. All those things matter, you know what I mean? So It's going to be interesting to see how Atlanta responds with those type of things being on the table.
All right, Anthony, let's get out with this. You know what I'm going to ask. Give me the winner. Give me the games for the NBA Finals that start tomorrow night.
I think a lot of people are counting out the Bucks too early. That team is a great defensive team. And when they knuckle down and start playing defense and start kind of bullying you a little bit, the Bucks can be hard to deal with once they get physical. And I think it depends a lot on Giannis' health. If Giannis is healthy, that's going to be a matchup problem for Phoenix as well. If you put a guy like Jay Crowder on, I'm not really sure how Jay can deal with him. Jay's a pretty strong guy, but you would assume he's going to get that matchup. But I think it's going to be the Suns, but I don't think it's going to be quick work. I think it'll be probably Suns in 6, depending on Giannis' health. But if Giannis isn't healthy, it could be over in 4 and 5. But if Giannis is there, I think it's going to be Suns in 6.
Right.
Will be fun to watch and be fun to visit with you again next Monday if you can, and we sure appreciate your time today. And we'll be listening tomorrow morning and every morning with you and Peter at 7 o'clock on these very airwaves. Anthony, thanks you so much.
Oh,
Great job. Great job. Anthony Sane with us on Mondays during the NBA playoffs every morning, 7A, 10A with Peter Edmondson on Sports 56 mornings. Look, all right, all you amateurs, me included, we all tried the rib thing and the barbecue thing over the weekend. It was fun, wasn't it? Now let's turn back to the pros and turn back to the pro with Walker Taylor and his team at the commissary, the new Collierville commissary. Not so new anymore, but we're still calling it that. At Houston, Levy, and Poplar are the original, the mainstay since the early 80s in Germantown. Memphis-style barbecue and ribs, authentic Memphis style. That means slow. Begin that barbecue feast with the great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos, where they were invented in the early 80s at the commissary in Germantown. Smoked chicken wings, just fantastic. Dive into the ribs or the shoulder. Get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich, a big gigantic sandwich, or you can get it on the plate with all the fixings, beans, slaw, deviled eggs, bread as well. Don't forget about the party packs, the 6-pack, the 8-pack, or the 12-pack. The salads, terrific. The chicken plate or the barbecue shrimp, outstanding. I mentioned the hot tamales dressed with chili, cheese, fresh onions, also very good. Save room for dessert. I know that's a challenge, but the best lemon icebox pie I've ever had, it's at the commissary, either at Houston, Levy, and Poplar or the original in Germantown. Terrific banana pudding, 901-754-5540, 754-5540, or online at commissarybarbecue.com. They're in Collierville, they're in Germantown, and they're gonna be with us at SEC Media Days, and we appreciate it so very much. Walker Taylor and his staff, they've done it the right way for all these years. 2 great locations at Houston, Levy, and Poplar are the original in Germantown. 754-5540, online at commissarybarbecue.com. We come back, we round out the hour with some all-star baseball roster talk. I don't have much time for the snubs because about everybody makes the all-star team now. We do that next on Sportstime.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
They've raised the bar again at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. I like to say this is the new standard, the way car business should be done. And to prove it, out of 355 dealers in America that sell Genesis cars, the one in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch, was top 50 in the country, top 10 in the region, and number 2 in the district. And guess what? They want to be number 1. That means there are opportunities out there for you. It's the safest, and every new latest bit of technology that makes the experience of driving a car better, they've got it at Genesis of Olive Branch. If we start with the G70, the highest performing car I've ever owned, all the way to the G80 or the G90, the biggest of the sedans, you'll love everything about the car. If you would like to try the new SUV, the GV80, you call Vinny Gerard at 662-890-6684. He will bring it out to you.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? 5 Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5 Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
With the value of the U.S. dollar continuing to slump due to unprecedented money printing, it has never been more important to protect your savings and retirement accounts from inflation. Many hardworking Americans, just like you and I, are turning to a proven method to protect what we work so hard to earn, real gold. You can have real gold delivered privately and securely to your home, or have real gold put into your IRA or 401k. Just call Oxford Gold Group right now, 833-928-GOLD. The Oxford Gold Group will teach you everything you want to know about owning real gold. It's a lot easier than you think. Call the Oxford Gold Group now at 833-928-GOLD to get your free precious metals investment guide. Talk to them about getting real gold and silver delivered to your home, or about having real gold placed in your IRA or 401k. The Oxford Gold Group is here to help you protect your savings and retirement from the unknown. Call them now, 833-928-GOLD. So, what are you waiting for? 833-928-GOLD. Get your gold you can hold from the Oxford Gold Group, 833-928-GOLD.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
All-star rosters mostly set. We're still waiting for some final voting, but the pitchers and the reserves mostly set for the American League and National League. That game next Tuesday night at Coors Field. The rosters are so very big now. I still love the All-Star game, Gabe, but I don't have a lot of time for the snubs. I was robbed because just about everybody makes it.
Right. I mean, you get a player from each team, regardless of if they deserve it or
which
not.
I don't like.
Which I've never been a fan of. But snubs, I mean, you could always find snubs on the MLB All-Star teams. But
any glaring?
Nothing overly glaring. I would say maybe Chris Bassett on the AL as a reserve pitcher. Maybe he's a guy 9-2 so far this year. I mean, he's been fantastic.
But do you want to have a backroom brawl over Chris Bassett?
No, exactly the point. Like, let's not overreact and lose our minds because you don't have
break out the brass knucks over Chris Bassett.
Yes, because you don't have one of your reserve starters that may or may not even get an inning in the game. I'm curious to see how they're going to use Shohei Ohtani, though. Obviously, he'll start at DH, but how will it work? Is he going to start the game?
He's got to do both, doesn't he?
Yeah,
that's why we're tuning in, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, he's got to make a mound appearance. And
he's
of course,
the attraction. He's the attraction.
Yeah. And it will be his show. We started with that. We talked a lot about that in the first hour. Next Monday night, it's going to be his event, the home run derby. And you talk about every team having to have a representative. Cardinals, case in point. There's no Cardinal that deserves to be on the All-Star team.
Yeah. I mean, Nolan Arenado has been decent, and I know you're coming from a place of being a Cardinal fan, and then you see
he was
how
voted in.
Yeah, but you see how they have been playing. But they got Alex Reyes on there. I mean, I could have taken that or leaving it. I don't really. I think Alex Reyes is fine. I don't know if he's an all-star.
I think Arenado's been disappointing. Now, he will get a big ovation at Coors Field.
Right.
Did over the weekend, mostly over the weekend, but he really will next week at the All-Star game when he comes back. But I think he's been pretty disappointing through these first 83 games. Cardinals 9 back in the all-important loss column. I don't want to wave the white flag too soon, but it's pretty over in the Central for everybody. the Brewers have a commanding lead.
Well, granted, though, the Brewers had the easiest June schedule of anybody in baseball. They had the Diamondbacks twice, the Rockies. Yeah, they did take advantage of it. But I don't think it's over by any stretch. They have some tough games ahead of them. We'll see what happens. I'll tell you this. I don't think the Cardinals are going to put themselves in any position, especially the way they're playing, to get back into this race. I mean, they just have not been good. They haven't been able to string 2 good games together. The run support's been awful. So it's just been one of those things. I don't think the Cardinals will get in there, but I think the Cubs have an outside shot. The Reds have been playing relatively well. But we'll have to see. And I'll say this. With Nolan Arenado and how he's played in this first half with the Cardinals, if the Cardinals had other forms of offense, if Paul Goldschmidt was playing well, if you had some guys toward the back of the lineup who were doing anything worth a darn, would it be that disappointing what he's done?
It probably wouldn't be in and of itself, and you're right. If it had a little help around him, if Paul DeJong was hitting 220,
exactly,
it'd be a lot better. I mean, Matt Carpenter got 2 hits yesterday to bring the average, I think, up to 177.
Oh my gosh, man, the fall off for him has been absolutely unbelievable. But
and Bryant knows there's not a lot of position player help at AAA. For next year, even the next, maybe Liberatore as a pitcher, maybe, and he was a key piece of the deal with the Rays with Tommy Pham involved. Tommy Pham has been a breakout star. That's a deal to regret for the Cardinals. There are a lot of Cardinals deals to regret. In Mo, do we trust still?
I don't think anybody in St. Louis is at that point. Is there right this second with all of the talent that has been outgoing. Arozarena, Voit. I mean, it's just unbelievable to see all the guys that Grichuk, Pham, you just mentioned. It's just all the talent that's been passed up on. It's hard to trust them in any way, shape, or form at this point.
Brian, any help at the farm?
There's not much. I mean, you've got Liberatore, like you said. I think he'll help the bullpen. But in the field, there's not much. I mean, there's a couple guys that if you need to call them up, you can call them up, and they can maybe do something. Like you saw Lars Nootbaar a couple weeks ago get called up, and he did a little.
But Nolan Gorman, a while from being the young catcher at Double-A, there's not much. I mean, there's just not a little bit like that 6 to 8 seed in the NBA. It's kind of been where the Cardinals have been stuck the last few years. Good, get to the playoffs. But you're nowheresville in the draft.
Yep, and that's what it's what it's been. And then you guys mentioned it. We don't have much. There's not much help, and I shouldn't say we. It's the Cardinals, but we don't see a lot of help coming up to go help the Cardinals. So we'll keep an eye on it. If they can actually get something done here in the next couple weeks and make up some ground on the Brewers, which I don't envision happening, maybe they could try to play themselves into a playoff spot. But the wild card is just taken up by the NL West at this point. So it just seems
exclusively.
It seems like a complete loss of a season right now for the Cardinals.
When we come back, we will start hour number 3 with an eagerly anticipated guest. He's on Twitter at Big Game Boomer. If you're on Twitter and you're a college football fan, you have to follow him. John Whitaker will be our guest. We will talk all things with his site, with his Twitter feed, the tiers, the rankings, and the blowback he gets from some of all of that from all the fans. He starts hour number 3 with us on Sportstime.
Mid-South Hobbies has your favorite model airplanes, boats, race cars, and trains to build. With brands you know like Lionel, LGB, and a large selection of Traxxas radio-controlled trucks, cars, and boats. Mid-South Hobbies has all the accessories to make them complete, with thousands of paint colors to make them shine. Reach the sky with rockets and kites, or reach deep into your imagination with action figures, comic book superheroes, and fantasy quest games. Get passionate about your hobby at Mid-South Hobbies. 4862 Summer Avenue, open 7 days a week. Call 901-682-9402.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the little red tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pin, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time, as simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Dave off this week. He'll be back next week. Hour 3 will start with Big Game Boomer from Twitter at Big Game Boomer. It's John Whitaker. He will join us. We have looked forward to Gabe and I look forward to catching up with him the entire offseason. A lot of lists, a lot of great college football content. We will visit with him after I tell you about the title sponsor of this hour, and that's DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road, 5704 to be exact. Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. All the cars at DeSoto Auto Sales thoroughly checked out from bumper to bumper, head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. It's hard to say these days in the car business, but they can. If it's not on the lot, they'll go find the car for you that you want. You're treated like family at DeSoto Auto Sales by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, down-home environment. They care about your time, and they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. You walk in within 45 minutes, find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're out of there in 45 minutes or less. That's a guarantee. They know we live in a world today that time matters, and they keep it simple for you at DeSoto Auto Sales, online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Again, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. I don't know when I've had a guest on that I do not know at all as much as I've looked forward to this guest. John Whitaker, I'm Brett. He's Gabe. You talked to Bryant on hold, and we are glad to have you on with us in Memphis because you have made off-season so much fun.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Going well. Glad to have you. You can feel the passion that you have for college football, and boy, your replies are passionate.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of fun for sure. it's pretty crazy what this is all kind of spiraled into. But yeah, I have a lot of fun with these rankings and lists that I'm putting out. It seems like almost every day.
So, how long? What's the process? And it's unbelievable. I love your list. To see a top 50 though in anything is jarring. How long
Deep
does
snappers.
it take? What's the process, and how long does it take?
Well, it really depends on what kind of list it is. Like for instance, I posted this morning the best quarterback coaches in college football. That one I was up kind of. I spent once I get my son down, I kind of put those together. Those take a while because I do try to make those pretty accurate. So those take maybe 2 or 3 hours to put together. But then with some other lists like best tailgating,
right?
Or that stuff doesn't take too long to put together because there's no right answer at the end of the day. So it's really just I'm throwing it out there. It's basically my opinion, and then
sure.
It's no different from like ESPN or Fox Sports posting what they think, and then I just put it out there basically as a talking point, and then it just kind of spirals out of control. Everyone having their own opinion, and
John,
it's hilarious.
I've loved it. It is your opinion, and just because maybe you haven't been to every single tailgate out there in college football on all level, I can even tell you there's good tailgating at Division III football right here in Memphis. When you go to a Rhodes game in the fall, you can't be everywhere, so you have to have an opinion through reading and knowledge and reports of people that having been out. All right, here's one list I don't want you to compile unless I'm at the top of it. Don't go through pregame and postgame guys at places and gals. Don't go through that list at college football, okay?
All right. I'll push that down further down my list of lists.
But we do want you in this area. We do want you at Tiger Lane for the tailgate experience, and I want you in Oxford at the high holy grail of tailgating in the Grove. We want you there this
Absolutely.
year. We're inviting you now, and bring Big Guy with you.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. I've always wanted to tailgate down at the Grove. And I've always wanted to go. I've traveled through Memphis. I've never actually spent time there, but I was a big advocate for Memphis for joining the Big 12 back when they were looking to expand.
Oh, I wish I
was
would
3 or
have
4 years ago. Yeah,
needed more advocates at that time.
Yeah.
So you joined in. Let's see here. I got this. April of 2012. When did you start doing what you're doing now, and when did you see the biggest growth on your page?
Yeah, so it says 2012. I didn't start using Twitter until this past Thanksgiving break. I took the whole week off.
Right.
And just with the pandemic and everything, there was nothing to do. So I just started getting online and arguing with college football fans, and I just found it wildly.
They know how to do that, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no other fan base like it. And so, I'd comment on stuff with anything the ESPN posted, I'd comment with my take. And, I just got a lot of feedback from every tweet or anything I'd say. I'd get in arguments with Desmond Howard or, Kirk Herbstreit gave me a shout out once. And so, once we kind of got through the season and we were looking at college basketball and NFL playoffs, I started just kind of cranking out these lists. And they just got a lot of feedback because I think people, fans they want to talk about college football all year long. And, I was kind of I felt like the stuff that I was providing was everyone was kind of finding entertaining. And I mean, I started doing that in February, and here we are. It's July, and I mean, it seems like this off season's just flown by. Where usually it just kind of feels like we're just at a snail's pace to get to Labor Day weekend.
Oh, I'm with you.
So
I do think this has been a rapid off season, and usually there's to this point. I think it's that snail's pace you talked about, John, and then the downhill slide really goes fast. But I do think this one has moved along quickly, and I mean this. I mean this sincerely. You have helped me through the off season because I had people talk about maybe an addiction. I need to mainline college football in both arms, and you have helped me.
Well, I appreciate that. There's a lot of people out there that probably feel differently, so it always makes me good to hear that you like what I'm putting out there.
Oh, we enjoy it. We've been looking forward to this interview for quite a while. Trust me. Also, I'm curious, when you put out what you put out, which fans are the most rabid? Which fans slide in the DM and just get nasty with you?
Well, I mean, it really depends on, I kind of, through this whole off season, I've gone after different fan bases, and then I've made other fan bases look good. And so, the DMs that I get.
Oh, I'd imagine your phone is actually heavier with the amount of DMs that come in.
It's hilarious. I mean, I'm not going to post any of that stuff, but I mean, me and some of my friends, I just die laughing at some of the responses I get. I mean, and Georgia fans, man, they got so mad. They went and found a picture of me once and posted it. And I mean,
wow.
Some of them, they just get so mad. I've gone after Alabama and Clemson a lot. I actually grew up a Clemson fan. I'm from South Carolina. So there's kind of I like getting the South Carolina-Clemson rivalry, getting that kind of riled up. So, but yeah, I mean, I get it from all fan bases, basically.
Are you doing a lot of radio? Because you really have become a college football sensation. Again, the Twitter site is @BigGameBoomer, on Instagram at the IG. Same thing. You got it unveiled a new logo this weekend. Have you done a lot of radio? And a lot of media reached out to you? Because I know one is getting ready to reach out to you. The capital of college football, WJOX, is getting ready to reach out to you.
All right. That sounds good to me. I mean, yeah, I've been doing podcasts and radio shows, kind of sporadically throughout this off season. I mean, this isn't my day job. So in the evenings, I'm happy to jump on something and talk about a list or something. I've been kind of talking about doing my own podcast for a while. I've got some guys looking into that, kind of what I need to do to get that started. But I mean, it's been fun. It's turned into a hobby, and I think the pandemic itself kind of is to blame for that, because I really never used Twitter until we were just kind of all stuck at home with nothing to do.
Maybe the best thing out of the pandemic has been at Big Game Boomer. Our guest is John Whitaker, OU alum, college football junkie, 24/7 college football rankings expert. That's his bio at his Twitter site. All right, let's talk about one. I'm going to say mid to 20th of June you released the tiers of college football. Tier 1. I don't think anybody can argue this. Only 3 teams in it: Bama, Clemson, Ohio State. Okay, I think everybody kind of there. Tier 2. Yeah, Tier 2 alphabetical order: Boise State, Georgia, LSU, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, and Oregon. Only one I'd have exception with: the most arrogant fans in college football, Boise State.
Yep. Yeah, that one got just a ton of pushback. And, there's no right answer to this. But so I really based this list on wins over the last 10 years. And Boise State has had 112 wins since 2010. There's only four schools that have more wins than Boise. That's OU, Ohio State, Clemson, and Bama. So, that's a pretty good category to be in. And, when they played the big boys, they beat OU. They beat Georgia. So I put them in there. I knew it would cause controversy. But you can also make an argument that they deserve to be up there.
So what jumps you from Tier 3 to Tier? Is it simply based on wins, or is there certain things about a program that you look at to tier it up?
I got a lot of pushback for having Florida State in Tier 5 because they were in won a national championship in 2013, I think, and made the college football playoff. But their program has just completely nosedived since Jimbo Fisher left. And so I feel like right now they're in, a state of, they're lower tier ACC. So I feel like that's where they belong. Same with Tennessee. One all time they're in the top 10 of wins since 2010. They've won 66 games. That's right. There's Duke. They're basically tied with Duke. And, I don't see them getting any better anytime soon, just with all the guys leaving and maybe some sanctions. So, it was just kind of the way I kind of put this together is just kind of what I think where they are right now. And based on kind of the history of the last 10 years.
Tier 3, locally, Tier 3 you had from the SEC, Auburn, Florida, and Texas A&M. Tier 4, you have the hometown Tigers, the Memphis Tigers, the Missouri Tigers, Kentucky, Ole Miss, and South Carolina. Tier 5, Arkansas State, Mississippi State, and Tennessee in that. Tier 6, Arkansas and Vandy. I know the Arkansas fans came at you hard. I know.
Ooh, yeah, they got
the Arkansas fans. They're very proud over that 3-win season last year, but I need to remind them they're 3-26 in the last 29 in SEC.
Yeah, and I put a graphic up of who they have lost to in the last 5 years, and they've lost to 8 or 9 Group of 5 teams, and all the fans were arguing, saying, well, we were going to make it to a bowl game last year. And I was like, yeah, but you won 3 games, and basically anyone could go to a bowl game last year. I was like, I need to see Sam Pittman get Arkansas to a bowl game before they can move up to another tier. Just because, they're bottom of the SEC. But yeah, those fans were really upset that I had them at the bottom.
So you went, and this is one of my favorite lists. Brett just brought up his favorite list. You had one about the biggest brands for every conference. Now, ACC, I think it's very understandable. You at 1, North Carolina 2, Florida State, we can argue. Were people upset about Clemson at 4? And also, when you look at the Big 12, and I know that they've had basketball success, Kansas at 3, was it, what went into the thinking there?
Yeah, Kansas is strictly at 3 because of basketball.
Okay.
I was looking at basically, every sport combined. So that's why I had Kansas at 3, because football, we all know they don't belong anywhere on that list.
For the Clemson at 4, were there some complaints about that one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, you look at the teams ahead of them, and I don't have that list in front of me. I think I had Miami.
You went Miami,
UNC,
North Carolina, Florida State.
Yeah, all 3 big brands. North Carolina, one of the biggest basketball brands out there. plus football. I mean, Mac Brown's got it going on down there now. And then the U. I mean, I feel like that's one of the more iconic symbols of college sports.
Right.
And then Florida State, with their success basically over the last 40 years, besides the last 5 years, is a household name. So
John,
Clemson really has only been. I mean, this run has been historic, but I mean, they've been an average kind of team. I mean, I grew up a fan. I was, spent my whole childhood going to games during the Bowden era, and I mean, God, I got my heart broken a bunch of times.
Well, even in the early years of Dabo, there was Clemsoning. Now he vanquished that.
Yeah.
But you, John, you had to live that. Our guest is John Whitaker. He's on Twitter at Big Game Boomer. It is a must-follow site for all things college football. And one of the big arguments in season and off season, there's no argument who's at the top of the coaches. It's Nick Saban in a league of his own,
no doubt,
in a galaxy of his own. Next galaxy, about 22 galaxy over, is Dabo Swinney. Then here's where the fight gets going. The Ryan Day, Lincoln Riley, Kirby Smart fight. Sort that out.
Yep. So right now I would put Ryan Day in third just because he's won a playoff game. And then I would put probably, I hate saying it because I'm an OU guy, but I'd put Kirby in front of Lincoln. And then,
just because he got Lincoln, OU in the Rose Bowl?
Because he beat us in the Rose Bowl. I mean, the biggest camel on OU's back is winning a playoff game, and we just have not been able to do it. I'm a big Lincoln Riley supporter, but just with our defense, it's just been. We've had two Heisman Trophy candidates, or two Heisman Trophy winners, and we have not won a playoff game. And so until that changes, I put a lot of importance on, winning a playoff game when I'm ranking head coaches.
So you may not have released your actual top 25, maybe top 50 teams in the country preseason. But right now, if I told you to rank 1 through 4 going into the 2021 season, who would you have?
I would say, 1, obviously Bama. 2 is OU. Definitely because we actually have a defense this year. 3, it's a toss-up between Clemson or Georgia. I'm going to go with Clemson, and then 4, Georgia, just with everything. But they've got going on down there with JT Daniels and basically their whole defense coming back. Got some questions at secondary, but I think they'll run the SEC. But and I feel you guys probably feel the same. I'm kind of sick of seeing the same teams in the playoff every year,
right,
even as an OU guy. So this whole deal about the 12-team playoff coming out, I think is good for college football.
I think it will help college football. John, I was at the Rose Bowl Stadium that day for Georgia.
Were you there?
Oklahoma.
I was there too.
Oh,
yeah,
it was there too. It was great. Now I was there that day, and I wore an Ole Miss button down shirt that had an Ole Miss logo over the pocket. And at halftime, went to get soft drinks. And as you noticed, as you found out at the Rose Bowl, Gabe, you leave the stadium to go to the concession stands. I mean, they're outside of the stadium, and I'm standing there, and a young man from Oklahoma, and you could tell I hope it wasn't you, John. You could tell he was itching to say something to me about the shirt, and he finally did, and he goes, what are you here to see a winner? I said, let me remind you, the last time we played both of you, we beat you.
Ole Miss?
Oh, yes, sir. Ole Miss beat
that?
Bob Stoops' first bowl game. That was the last time they played in the Independence Bowl, and beat Kirby bad in Oxford his first year at Georgia.
Okay. Wow. I don't remember that. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, forever ago.
I hope that wasn't you, John.
Lane Kiffin's got it going on now. I feel like the SEC West this year is kind of wide open, just with a lot of Bama guys leaving. I mean, I think if Lane Kiffin can find some defense on his roster, because their offense, they're going to score. If you can just find some sort of defense, I think they could finish second or third in the SEC West.
I don't want to be too nitpicky, but I don't think wide open, but just the door being slightly ajar appears to be wide open with Alabama. Right. And of course, Ole Miss has to go to Tuscaloosa. John, this is not our first and last visit. This is the first of many visits during the college football season. Again, it's John Whitaker. His Twitter feed is @BigGameBoomer. It has been delightful, and we're going to do it again soon. Okay.
All right, guys.
It, John.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on.
You got it. You got John Whitaker. You can hear and you can feel the passion for college football. Yeah, it was fun that day to be at the Rose Bowl Stadium. Gabe, you've heard me talk about it. When after the Rose Bowl, literally, I got home and it's all I could talk about. And my mother, I'm going to say, so it was January that went out, of course, around bowl time. I'm going to say around July or August, we go out to eat right before college football gets started, and she stopped me before the conversation even started at dinner at night. She said, Brett, seriously, I can't hear any more about the Rose Bowl. Be quiet about the Rose Bowl. You've worn me out with how great it was.
It really is incredible,
is.
Pulling up on it and how historical it looks, seeing the mountains in the backdrop. It is fantastic. I'll say this. I did not know you had to leave the stadium to go get your concessions. I've never gotten to deal with the concession part of it. I do want to go there at least once as a fan.
Oh, to be able to play there. I know that had to be special for you in that 2014 season. That was one of the kick point seminal moments in Tiger football history. No doubt about it, Gabe. As I've said, you were there laying the cornerstone, and a big foundation got laid that night.
People don't understand that you can lay a foundation even with a loss for a football program, just to see yourself sticking in a game. And that's what it was with UCLA. And I think you ask Dave about the same thing. He'll say that's the night where you saw the turn in Memphis football.
Yeah. And not often am I much on shoulda, coulda, and almost, but you knew that night was different.
Yes, 100%. And that, by the way, we've been over this a million times, but that UCLA team was riddled with NFL talent. There were so many guys. Eric Kendricks, Miles Jack, Brett Hundley, who was a quarterback. I don't know if he's still in the league, but he'd been in the league for a while. Odigizua was their DN. They just had Kenny Clark, who I was matched up against the whole night, was a first-round pick. That team and what Jim Mora Jr. did at that time, he brought in some talent to those UCLA teams.
And UCLA, their former coach, Terry Donahue, in the news today of his passing at 77 after years of cancer. Terry Donahue with a very much Memphis thread through the years. When he played at UCLA, the first year the Liberty Bowl Stadium was open, Memphis Memorial Stadium, very first year of 1965, played in a famous game for UCLA as a player against Tennessee, a really good Tennessee team that played in Memphis 3 times that year, or 2 times that year, two times, and had played Ole Miss earlier that year in Memphis, a pretty good Ole Miss team. Mm-hmm. Then Terry Donahue years later coached in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl in 1976 against Coach Bear Bryant on a very, very frigid night in a big loss for UCLA. And he was really close to Pepper Rogers that a lot of people around here associate with. Pepper Rogers really gave Terry Donahue kind of a start. Also, Terry Donahue part of the first CBS broadcast team when CBS got the SEC package in the mid-'90s. It was Terry Donahue as analyst and Jim Nance as play-by-play with Michelle Tafoya as a sideline reporter. And I don't want to overdo it. I did not know him well at all, but he was always very nice to me. When I saw that today, I wanted to make mention of Terry Donahue's passing and his strong ties to Memphis. His head coach at UCLA, Tommy Prothro, having grown up in Memphis, and Brian, you'll love this, the all-time winningest minor league manager in the history of minor league baseball in Memphis was Tommy Prothro's dad, Doc Prothro. So it all ties together, and I wanted to get that in about Terry Donahue. When we come back, we do an NBA Finals draft just from players in this draft. Gabe and I will draft these players if we're going to consider them 100% healthy. So that'll be my first pick if I get the first pick when we return on Sports Time.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
AC trouble? Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their yearly AC checkup is only $60. Then this year, Air Doctors is the official HVAC contractor for St. Jude Dream House. Air Doctors installed the St. Jude Dream House new Train high-efficiency equipment. Get your service from the best. AirDoctorsOfMemphis.com. Call 901-598-HVAC.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, I started the first micro distillery in the state of Texas with my dog, Dog Joe, at my side. We're still working with dogs out at the distillery after all these years. Learn more about how dogs are a part of life here at Tito's Handmade Vodka at vodkafordogpeople.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka is made from corn and naturally gluten-free. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Tuesday chicken fried steak, yum, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $7.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $9.99. And veggie plate, $8.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays Eddie Smith, and the best Memphis music all weekend at Neil's Bar and Grill.
Where the fat man rocks.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
NBA draft of the players in the just on the rosters for these two finals teams that's coming up. Gabe, I want to ask you back to Big Game Boomer, back to John Whitaker, and on that next tier, that Ryan Day, Kirby Smart, Lincoln Riley. I think it's tough to decide on one. Yeah, Kirby got Lincoln Riley, but Lincoln Riley's kind of always there. Ryan Day got to the finals last year, had to come in the tough situation, Ohio State. Right now, I don't think there's a dime bit of difference between those two.
No, absolutely not. And those are guys who have to get over the hump to a certain extent once you get to the college football playoff and go and win one for once before we start.
Two offensive guys.
And before we start putting them on different levels.
Sure.
'Cause I agree with you completely. Those guys are very elite coaches, very, very good at their job, but not a lick of difference between the three of them.
Two offensive guys, Day, Riley, one defensive guy, Kirby, and the opposite side of the balls cost all of them from having their first title.
Right, and I think that's why when we talked to David Cobb earlier, when we had the conversation about Georgia this year, that's why I think this year that Georgia team is scarier than most, because this is the best offense they've had in a while. That O-line up there, Zamir White is good, and not to mention JT Daniels is probably the best quarterback they've had in quite a minute. And I think for him, if he can push the envelope and be better than what Jake Fromm was, because I think he's very similarly built to Jake Fromm, and that was a good Georgia. Those are good Georgia teams with Jake Fromm. If he can push the envelope a little more and be a little more of a game player and make some plays, then I think I think that offense will be much better.
Leaving LAX that next day, I thought Georgia was going to beat Bama, and I would have bet my life that Jake Fromm would have won it maybe another time, but he didn't. During the break, Bryant Dacus decided, we told him to decide. He gave me the first pick. I'm going to we're going to consider everybody healthy. I know they're not for this set of playoffs, but I'm going to take Giannis with my first pick.
That's a fantastic pick. For me, this is so wildly tough. Well, because Giannis is the guy. you have to take in that position. For my first pick, I'm going to go ahead and go with Chris Middleton.
Whoa.
Yep.
I had Middleton fourth, so I'm going to take my second pick. I'm going to go Booker. I'm going to score some points.
And then I'll go straight to Chris Paul right there.
And that was my top four: Giannis, Booker, Paul, Middleton. So I need me a point guard to go with my 2 or 3, or with my 3 or 4, Booker and Giannis.
And my thought process there with Middleton is a guy that can handle the ball and can distribute as well. And I value that.
He can, and it's falling. It has fallen and will fall a lot to him in these finals. Give me Drew Holiday. So I've got Holiday, Booker, and Giannis. I'm going to score. Can I defend? Do I need to defend?
Holiday can defend. Giannis, to a certain extent, can defend. Not out on the perimeter, though. And a lot of people got mad at him during the Nets series because he wouldn't go out and guard Kevin Durant. So with my third pick, give me DeAndre Ayton.
It's gone exactly through the first 6 as I thought it would. I had him 6, so I go to my number one, to my next player. I had him at 7, and glue guy, team guy, back-to-back finals.
You're about to steal one from me, aren't you?
I still think the Grizzlies did the right thing. I'll defend them to the end of time. I don't know what Justice Winslow will end up being. Might be over with Justice Winslow as a member of the Memphis Grizzlies. It was still worth trying, but I do love Jay Crowder, so give me Jay Crowder, and I need a post player.
I'm going to go – ooh, this is tough now. Now we're getting to the role players become the tough conversation. Jay Crowder was the ideal role player with the guys I have so far. I'm going to go ahead and go Mikal Bridges as my fourth.
I had him 11th, but it did get tough in this, and I mean, my 8 is too high, but I thought I might be scrambling for a point guard. I don't mind the Bridges pick. So you have Chris Paul running point. You got some pretty good guards.
I got Paul, Middleton, Bridges, and Ayton so far.
I like your team. All right, I'm going out of order because I'm set at point guard with Drew Holiday, so I don't need campaign. I had him 8. I don't know if he's really the best player of this, but I need some size. Even when he goes out to the 3, give me Brook Lopez.
Ooh,
I like my team.
See, and here's the other thing. I have, and obviously Brook Lopez proved his value there in that Game 5 against the Hawks with the 33 points. But I always thought that Bobby Portis was not getting enough playing time at the end of that Nets series. I was very confused by that, but once he got in toward the end of that Hawks series, he showed his value. I'm not taking him here because I already have DeAndre Ayton. So this is a very, very tough one for me. Right now I'm looking at what? I need a 4. I could go another big.
100% healthy we're considering, even though I know they're not. Nobody is at this time.
I could go, you know what?
Just that annoying player, that pest of a player.
Yeah, but that way I don't know if I much like him considering the defenders I already have. Middleton and Bridges, I like their ability around the perimeter to defend.
You're not going off the grid with Dante DiVincenzo, are you?
No, I'm going to throw out P.J. Tucker. I'm not doing P.J. Tucker here.
Okay, that's who I suspect.
That's the one who would make sense here.
And you're not going Portis.
You know what? I think I've changed my mind. I'm going to go Bobby Portis.
Yeah, Bobby Portis from Arkansas. Razorbacks have a player in the finals. So if my top 12 campaign at 8, I don't know how much I really believe that, and P.J. Tucker at 10 omitted. I had 6 Bucks. I had 6 Phoenix Suns players. Who'd you have kind of as the next?
The next I would have taken, I probably would have gone P.J. Tucker, and then with the Suns, probably campaign is probably the next one off the list. Or no, not campaign. Cam Johnson would probably be the next off the list there for me.
And we're calling everybody healthy, and not many of these guys really are 100% healthy after another one of these years. So new names in these finals. I don't mind it whatsoever. Phoenix will get their first ever, or Milwaukee will get their first in a long, long, long time since they played at the Mecca and Lou Costello. Was it Lou Costello? Larry Costello. No, Lou was the comedian. Larry Costello was the coach, and a guy named Lou Alcindor was the star player. A lot have changed. You know, the Bucks and the Phoenix Suns share a pass over Lou Alcindor, later to be the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You know what that pass is, don't you? The year he came out, it was kind of like our big draft we just had in Bryant. Decided the coin toss between the Bucks and the Phoenix Suns. Bucks win. 2 years later, they win it all with Kareem. And the Phoenix Suns got a really good player out of that from Florida. I remember him when I was small watching the Saturday afternoon SEC game of the week. They got Neil Walk.
Yeah.
Kind of lost on the coin toss.
Yeah, I was going to say. I thought it was going to be a bigger name than that.
Then, no hairier human ever than Neil Walk when he played college basketball at Florida. Wore the classic late 60s, early 70s stirrups, and he a very hairy man, but was a good player for Phoenix for a long time. But when you lose out on that coin toss, that's the tide of history right there.
So let's ask the text line. I have Chris Paul, Mikal Bridges, Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, DeAndre Ayton. You have Giannis,
Booker, Drew Holiday, Jay Crowder, and Brooke Lopez.
Oh, gosh, I like your team better. I like your team a whole lot better.
I'm pretty athletic.
Yes, you are.
Textures, who wins between
Texas.
me against Big 71?
901-360-8255. Let us know. You know what? I might pick your team.
I like my team, and I'm for Phoenix in these finals. And I want Booker to be the MVP,
right?
Because it's the last thing I can hang on to on kind of dissing Chris Paul. But Anthony Sain's right. We got to let 2013 playoffs go.
Yes, we do. And I really want to see Chris Paul win the finals. I would love to see Devin Booker probably hoist the MVP trophy. And if Chris Paul ends up getting it, he ends up getting it. But it's really looking like the Suns right this second. They're minus 175, I believe, to the Bucks plus 150 are the early odds.
And I don't know why. I mean, I don't know either one of them that well. The little bit I've been around Monty Williams a little more. I mean, just scantily more than Mike Budenholzer. But I'm kind of for him, and with his story and his, the tragedy that he went. I'm sorry that he went through.
And not to mention, he and Chris Paul have been together for the long haul. That was Chris Paul's first coach there in Charlotte with the Hornets. He did a heck of a job there with him. But Monty Williams has been there, done that with Chris Paul. And I will say this, Brett, the sideline, end of the game sort of video that they caught of Chris Paul saying he was trying to calm himself down and Monty Williams saying, you don't have to calm down. You're going to the championship. I thought that was awesome to see.
I did too. It was real. You could feel the emotion. And for Chris Paul, he's heard the detractors. And I'm not talking about me. He didn't give a darn about me. But he's heard it. And look, he knew it. He lived it. He lived it in high school, never won anything. Wake Forest never won a championship. What was on gold medal winning team in 2016. But maybe some teams in the NBA better than the one he's on this year that he's in the finals with.
Right, and that just shows timing, situation, being in the right place at the right time has its merits. And that's something that has to happen. And I had my conversation there with Anthony about how he feels about their road to the finals so far. And they have done a good job in overcoming everything that they have so far in these playoffs, but they've definitely had some luck there along the way.
But in 2013, the ginned up, I think it was organic. I don't think it was manufactured, but the hype with the Grizzlies and the Clippers and that closeout series on Friday night, May 3rd, 2013, and a really bad look the way the Clippers went out that night. Grant Hill, Lowbridge, and Mark Gasol. I think during that series, Chris Paul wanted to go where you don't go below the belt a couple of times. I don't know what the fascination was with that team of doing that, but they did it a couple of times. So maybe I'll just direct all my angst at Grant Hill now for doing all that.
Right, but that was a heck of a team he had with the Clippers, and I will agree. You look at the history of the teams he's been on, that Clippers team has to be the best, most talented one he's been a part of.
And Chris Paul, without David Stern stepping in, I mean, he was on his way to the Lakers.
Yep.
And the league just thought that was too much of a Bigfoot move.
I still, to this day, am not a fan of that move. Obviously, let bygones be bygones, but still not a fan to this day. I thought that would have been very, very fun to watch him and Kobe together.
Yeah, and Kobe needed someone like that because it would have taken a lot of the pressure off him. It was too on the ball for him, and nobody, even as great as he was, could do it.
Let's be honest, Kobe's not some great. He was never a great distributor of the basketball. My gosh, could he score? He could score at any angle, wherever you wanted him to score from. But he always liked to have a distributor with him. Derek Fisher did it very, very well for some years.
He was great at it.
So he needed that guy. And toward the
Who
end
was
of
he
his
throwing
career,
the ball to that would have been better than him? Why would he pass?
Right, yeah, exactly. But toward the end of his career, he didn't generally have that. And
of all the knocks, whether it's on the court or off, I don't care about off the court. On the court, all the knocks about LeBron James, the fairest knock, too unselfish. Who are you throwing it to is going to be better than you? Hog the ball.
Right, and he has always caught flack for not taking the shot at the end of the game. He genuinely defers, but
it's not fair.
And
it's not fair.
He makes the right play, and that LeBron fans will always tell you, he makes the right play. He passes it. If he gets a double team on the last play, which he generally does, he's going to get it to the open guy, no matter who it is. Whereas a lot of the stars in the past, you look at the Michael Jordans of the world, the Kobe Bryants of the world, and this is not to say LeBron hasn't had his moments of last-second shots and winning games, sending his team to different rounds of the playoffs. He's had those. But Kobe and MJ, it didn't matter who was following them. They were putting that shot up.
As Mark Gasol would say in that perfect English, that perfect diction, he plays the game the right way. And he did it. Mark tried to do it, and LeBron sure doesn't. When we come back, we try to end this Monday the right way. We do it with Taco Bell Crunch Time. That's next on Sports Time.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. How old is your water heater? With most of the water heaters in the Mid-South located in the attic, the worst day you can replace your water heater is one day too late. It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot water. Plus, these energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month. Most 10-year-old water heaters were about 65% efficient when they were new, compared to a tankless water heater from Conway Services that's up to 98% efficient. Plus, right now, get your tankless water heater from Conway Services for as low as $79 per month. Or I'll give you $250 for that old tank water heater. And no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. And you know, with over 8,000 5-star reviews, you know Google guaranteed Conway Services will be providing great customer service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Golf enthusiast, looking for new golf greens? Got it. New and exciting Cypress View Golf and Recreation, just over the Mississippi River in Marion, Arkansas. Cypress View Golf and Recreation, absolutely gorgeous. Your first tee, you're looking at cypress trees a mile long in between a small lake. Give it your best shot. Feel like you're on vacation. Located just over the bridge at 303 Club Circle in Marion, Arkansas. It's the new semi-private pro golf club. Cypress View Golf and Recreation has a new golf pub with tons of new food items for breakfast and lunch. Choose from Philly cheesesteak sandwich, homemade fresh hand-patted burgers, and Nathan's hot dogs, flatbreads, quesadillas, summer salads, and more. Take advantage of Cypress View Golf and Recreation's new membership for unlimited golf, 7 days a week, only $199 plus tax. Call Pro Mark today at 870-739-6305 at Cypress View Golf and Recreation.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Boop! You.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
On 1, on 2, on 3. Hey!
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day.
Brett, I learned today that Noah Batchelor has committed to the University of Memphis. He's a 6'7" IMG, obviously in Bradenton. He's a shooting guard / small forward. And what he had to say was very interesting in regards to why he picked Memphis. He said they brought in Larry Brown, who coached Allen Iverson. He's a great coach. To me, it was absolute no-brainer. Tigers right now, with the 7th-rated class, according to 247 in 2022, with Amar Knox from Bartlett, Zako Littleton, and now Noah Batchelor.
Yeah, and more on the way. Could be a big week this week for the Tigers. They did lose a player today that I think was strongly considering Memphis, but ended up signing with Arkansas. But that's a good signee. What I learned, Major League Baseball will do their own investigation into the allegations around Trevor Bauer and what could go wrong with that. Everything. Ugh. It's a really bad idea. Baseball, let the proper authorities do police work. If you have to, I know you don't want to, but if you have to suspend Bauer until the case is resolved, do so, or let him play until he's proved guilty. But baseball doesn't want that PR dynamic of him playing with those tawdry allegations out there. But baseball, I wouldn't have baseball run a lemonade stand, much less a potential investigate a sexual assault case.
Oh, and my gosh, it is looking worse and worse by the day. And it's a weird thing. Trevor Bauer hasn't denied the allegation. He hasn't denied it. He has said it happened, but it's not how she's saying. And she's saying, no, it happened this way, and the administrative leave that Major League Baseball put on him ends Friday.
And that's what the courts are for. He said, she said.
What are they going to do come Friday? Do they re-up his administrative leave? Do they make it indefinite? This is terrible for Major League Baseball.
Do you trust Rob Manfred investigating anything?
No, nothing. I mean, how many times does he have to prove that he can't? He's not very good at it. Now, something I could have done without, definitely could have done without that. But also the Maria Taylor, Rachel Nichols drama. I could have. That was not
a lot
fun
of drama.
To watch. A lot of
it's
drama.
A lot of money at play.
To find Rachel Nichols on a recorded line, a hotline on video, saying what she said about Maria Taylor, basically saying that Maria Taylor didn't earn the job that she was getting, that she got it because she was black, and that ESPN didn't have a good history with inclusion of their black employees. And it's just bad all around. And then you look at some of the things that were said about Maria Taylor last week in regards to her wanting Stephen A. money, and that's why she wanted to leave. You figure out today that that's not the case. Maria Taylor, Rachel Nichols have had issues dating back as far as a year, and Maria Taylor's approaching the end of her deal with ESPN, and I think she's a tremendous talent, without question.
Tremendous.
So good at whatever she does. ESPN should be doing whatever they can to try to keep her, but I'm not sure that it will work.
And the money is the marketplace. If you don't want to pay that, she's going to walk. She's going to go to another place because somebody will, especially with the different platforms that we're getting ready to have. What if Amazon wanted to hire her for their NFL coverage? I could have done without any idea of the Tampa Bay Lightning intentionally losing tonight in Montreal where they can celebrate at home. No way. That's people that's never been near a locker room thinking that that's a potentiality. There's no way they're going to do it. First of all, I know they're not taking any money, but wouldn't that be taking a dive?
It would. It absolutely would. And
now, to actually throw it means you got to be on the take, but this would be taking a dive. I don't see any way they do that. If they can close out tonight and drink out of that cup, they're going to do it tonight in Montreal.
And that's the conversation we always have when good teams take a lead in a series in the playoffs. Should they chill for tonight and let their guys recover? No. Go win the game. Go finish it, especially when you're talking about the Stanley Cup Finals. What are we talking about?
We will be watching that tonight to see if somebody's drinking from the cup. The Montreal won't, even if they win. 28 years and counting for them. Wimbledon rolls on. The health of Giannis, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on the Milwaukee Brewers running away with the NL Central. Red Sox, a lusty 31 over 500. What are you watching?
I'm watching this Brewers game tonight. I'm trying to see if anybody can make up any ground in the NL Central. Brandon Woodruff has been one of the hidden gems as far as pitching goes in the National League.
Want to thank Ted Butler talking golf with us every Monday. Appreciate him. The day after the holiday, David Cobb on college football, Anthony Sane on the NBA, and we loved having big game boomer John Whitaker with us. We'll do it again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. For Gabe, for Brian, and for Dave in his absence, I'm Brett. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 3.
They've raised the bar again at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. I like to say this is the new standard, the way car business should be done. And to prove it, out of 355 dealers in America that sell Genesis cars, the one in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch, was top 50 in the country, top 10 in the region, and number 2 in the district. And guess what? They want to be number 1. That means there are opportunities out there for you. It's the safest, and every new, latest bit of technology that makes the experience of driving a car better, they've got it at Genesis of Olive Branch. If we start with the G70, the highest performing car I've ever owned, all the way to the G80 or the G90, the biggest of the sedans, you'll love everything about the car. If you would like to try the new SUV, the GV80, you call Vinny Gerard at 662-890-6684. He will bring it out to you.
Is there a room in your house that never seems to cool or heat the way you think it should? Then a Mitsubishi ductless system may be a solution for you. Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Ductless systems are relatively new to the United States, but Mitsubishi ductless systems are a proven energy saver because the system does not have any ductwork, so it can blow colder air in the summer and warmer air in the winter. Mitsubishi's inverter-driven compressors automatically adjust to your cooling or heating demands to deliver ideal comfort while only using the energy that is needed. No more, no less. Do you have a bonus room, sunroom, or master bedroom that never cools right? Maybe a new addition to your home or a garage you want heated or cooled. Now you can do it efficiently. Call Choates today at 755-4797 or visit our website at choateshvac.com to schedule your free estimate. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Who is probably one of the worst golfers in town? Yes, you got it. It's me, Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors. How can I be the worst? I spend too much time concentrating on selling homes. Now I'm great off the tee and my drives are really good, but it's my next shots, my second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and you get the idea. I spend too much time giving my clients advice on getting their homes ready for the market so their homes will sell quickly at a really good price. The market may be good for sellers, but if you don't prepare and have a good presentation, it's like not being able to get out of a sand trap, which often happens to me. But if you want to know why people often say when you want the job done, call Shell Done, then call or email me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now, whether it's for you or for a friend. That's Shell Done at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solution.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claims